Good morning. This is your wake-up call.
Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome back to Now Awake Wisdom. Today my topic is, well, it's more of a question to you guys than a statement. I'm kind of confused on this topic myself. Back in ancient times, people were more able to use both sides of their brains, I believe, because in these days today, well, we have a left side of the brain and a right side of the brain, and a lot of people consider left side male thinking, structured, and right side female thinking and more artistic. And in the times we live in now, if a man uses his right side of the brain, he may be considered feminine or homosexual or gay, and I don't believe that I'm sure there was homosexuality back in the Bible times, in ancient times, but I don't think that it was as common and widespread, which probably made it easier for men to use both sides of their brain. Now if a man uses the right side of their brain or is more feminine, people label him as gay or homosexual, so he almost has to, just to stay in line with his peers and peer pressure, almost has to be a manly man and only think with the left side of your brain, and I think that limits people. Back in ancient times, people were probably a lot more free to think how they want and a lot more connected, and being able to use both sides of your brain, the male and the female, the left and the right, people probably were able to think much more and clearer and freely. I guess what I'm trying to say is, the world we live in today labels people as gay or homosexual if you're a little bit feminine, and you're limited and put in a box. And I was wondering if you guys think that in the past people were probably more artistic and more open and smarter all around, because if you're not limited to have to act a certain type of way, I wonder if people in the Bible times and in ancient times used their whole brain and thought with the left side and their right side, because they wouldn't be as quick to label somebody as homosexual or gay. And I guess it's a question to you guys. Do you think that people in ancient times, since they were able to use both sides of their brain, do you think that they advanced faster? Do you think that they were smarter and had better ideas than we have now? Because females are thought to think a certain way and males are thought to think a certain way. And in ancient times, maybe if a male was a little more feminine and thought more with the right side of his brain, do you think it was more acceptable and people just didn't really care or say anything about it? Or do you think that they were forced to think manly? I don't know. This was just a thought going through my mind, and I thought I'd expand on it a little bit and try to see what other people's opinions are. Let me know what you think. If people in ancient times were able to use their whole brain without being labeled as effeminate or homosexual. If they use their whole brain, they're probably able to think better and fuller and more clear and more artistic. And I guess my main point is, now in the days that we live in, people are put into boxes and limited on what they can do just because of stereotypes and being afraid to be called names, or being afraid to look a certain way. People now are probably less creative and less smart just because our society labels people. So do you think in ancient times, without the labels, people were brighter and I don't know, more creative than we are now? Or do you think it's the same as we are now? Because I seem to think in ancient times people were probably brighter because it was acceptable and they were allowed to think with their whole brain. So let me know what you think about this. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and believe in unity, believe in self, and love conquers all. Peace.
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Is that all you got?